Namaskar. Opposition leaders held a meeting in the national capital to discuss the outcome of the exit polls, which gives an upper hand to the ruling BJP, and other matters related to the polls. Well, the opposition leaders, they've demanded that verification of VVPATs with EVMs be done first and not after the last round of counting. So the EC has listened to all of them and has said that they will take a decision on Wednesday. But we ask this question whether the constant attack on the EC through EVMs is even justified. This is Newsnight. Here are the headlines. Hectic parleys underway post-exit poll results. The NDA leaders thanked the Prime Minister and BJP Chief Amit Shah at the event. Amit Shah hosts a dinner for them. Supreme Court dismisses PIL seeking 100% matching of VVPAT slips with EVMs, finds no merit in the petition filed by technocrats. Exit poll results trigger a panic button for the Congress in Karnataka. Senior party leader Roshan Beg slams the KPCC chief Dinesh Gundu Rao and former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah for bad performance in the elections, appeals to Muslim community to join hands with the BJP if the NDA wins. Sitting MLA Tirong and 9 others, including his family, killed in an attack in Bogapani area of Arunachal Pradesh. NSC and extremists involvement suspected. In international news, Joko Widodo wins his second term as Indonesian president with over 55% of the votes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates the Indonesian president on his re-election. And in sports, Captain Virat Kohli and coach Ravi Shastri exude confidence about India's 2019 World Cup chances. They say that the team India is ready to face the pressure and challenges to play to their potential in the 12th World Cup. Well, the NDA leaders met in the capital and all members of the alliance thanked the Prime Minister for his leadership, and they also looked forward to working together over the next 5 years as well. All members of the Council of Ministers were present. They were thanked for their contribution to the government. Let's look at this report.
Prime Minister Modi was felicitated at the meeting of the Council of Ministers at the BJP headquarters. The members present expressed their gratitude for the work taken to the masses. NDA leaders were present at the occasion. The BJP also thanked the ministers and workers for their service to the nation in the last 5 years.
5 वर्ष नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार में सभी ने सफलतापूर्वक कार्यक्रमों के क्रियान्वयन में योगदान दिया और दूसरा, लोकसभा चुनाव का परिणाम शीघ्र ही आने वाला है, इसलिए आभार और शुभकामनाएं दोनों दृष्टियों से यह कार्यक्रम आयोजित किया गया था.
The NDA government at the centre was formed in 2014 when the BJP got the full majority. That NDA is united and this was clearly visible at the event.
मीटिंग में तो पिछले 5 साल की ही चर्चा हुई थी और कैसे देश की दिशा बदलने के लिए एक बहुत ही मजबूत प्रधानमंत्री ने मजबूत सरकार चला के बहुत बढ़िया काम किया, जिस करके सबका साथ सबका विकास लेके चले थे और 23 तारीख को सबका विश्वास भी मिल रहा है.
Prime Minister Modi was accorded a warm welcome upon his arrival at the BJP headquarters. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Moving on, well, the Election Commission has made it absolutely clear that reports about EVMs being circulated on social media are absolutely false and factually incorrect. In a statement, the poll panel has said that after the close of the polls, all polled EVMs and VVPATs are brought under security cover to the strong rooms, which are sealed with double locks in the presence of the candidates and in the presence of observers. The entire process of storage and sealing of the strong room is covered under videography and is also there's continuous CCTV coverage and that's done till the completion of counting. So the EC has also created an EVM control room number, which is 01123052123, which will handle any EVM related complaints from tomorrow. Here's the context of the statement in this report.
The Supreme Court on Tuesday dismissed a PIL seeking 100% matching of voter verifiable paper audit trail slips with electronic voting machines during the counting of votes on May 23rd for Lok Sabha polls. The plea filed by Chennai-based organization Tech for All was dismissed since a larger bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi had already dealt with the matter and passed an order. The Apex Court had on May 7th already dismissed a review plea filed by 21 opposition leaders led by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, seeking an increase of random matching of VVPAT slips with EVMs to 50%. The top court had on April 8th directed the Election Commission to increase random matching of VVPAT slips with EVMs from 1 to 5 polling booths per assembly segment in the Lok Sabha polls, saying it would provide greater satisfaction not just to political parties but also the entire electorate. Ever since exit polls predicted the return of the Modi-led NDA government, opposition parties have increased the tone and tenor of their charges, alleging more EVM fraud. Opposition party leaders raised their concern of alleged replacement of EVMs from strong rooms with the poll body. The BJP reiterated its stand that those questioning EVMs have in the past won elections through those very same EVMs. The ruling party said the opposition is clearly looking for excuses prior to their imminent defeat.
21 पार्टियां जो गई हैं, ये 17 पार्टियां इनमें से ऐसी हैं जो खुद इसी ईवीएम मशीन से चुनाव जीत चुकी हैं। तो जब खुद चुनाव जीती थी तब इन्होंने बहाना नहीं बनाया, लेकिन आज जो जनता ने अपना मन बना लिया और जो मतदान करा है, उसकी कल जो रिजल्ट आने वाला है उससे पहले बहाना ढूंढने की ये जो कोशिश करी जा रही है, ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है।
उस ईवीएम मिलाप मंडली का हिस्सा जो है वो ईवीएम से चुनाव जीत करके सरकार भी रहे हैं और जीते भी हैं। उस वक्त तो वो ठीक थी ईवीएम, अब ईवीएम खराब है। दरअसल प्रॉब्लम ये नहीं है, इस ईवीएम मिलाप मंडली की प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उनको ज़मीन की हकीकत का एहसास हो चुका है, ज़मीन खिसक चुकी है उनकी, और जब ज़मीन खिसक जाती है तो इसी तरह से एक पेशगोई या इसी तरह की भूमिका बनाई जाती है और कहा जाता है कि जी हम जो जनता ने हमें जनादेश से नहीं हराया बल्कि ईवीएम ने हराया। ये तो जनता की जनादेश का अपमान कर रहे हैं और कुछ नहीं।
Meanwhile, the Election Commission has termed the allegations as unfounded. The Commission said in a statement that such reports and allegations are baseless, in particular the allegations regarding Ghazipur, Chandoli, Dumriaganj and Jhansi parliamentary constituencies. The Commission gave assurance that EVMs and VVPATs were sealed and locked in the strong room in front of the candidates or their representatives, and the entire process has been videographed. Also, the strong rooms have 24-hour surveillance and CCTV cover.
प्रशासन का यह पूरा प्रयास है कि प्रत्येक प्रत्याशी 3 वैंटेज पॉइंट पर एक व्यक्ति ज़रूर तैनात करें और स्ट्रांग रूम पे जो व्यवस्था है उसको ज़रूर निगरानी रखें। हमारा पूरा प्रयास है कि चुनाव पारदर्शिता से हो और कोई भी ऐसी छेड़छाड़ या ऐसी कोई बातों का कोई मौका ही ना दिया जाए।
सीएपीएफ की आर्म्ड गार्ड उपस्थित है, जनरल ऑब्जर्वर यहाँ पे उपस्थित है, तो सारे लोगों के देखा देखी में ये हो रहा है। दिन में लाया जा रहा है इसीलिए ईवीएम को कि किसी को कोई शक ना हो। इवन यहाँ पे कैंडिडेट्स को भी बताया गया कि वो रिजर्व की ईवीएम वहाँ रखी हुई है, हम लोग वहाँ से लाएंगे। यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने रख दिया है, अभी इसको सील करेंगे और यहाँ पे भी आर्म्ड गार्ड की ड्यूटी लगेगी।
The electoral process has already been made more robust after the EC installed VVPAT machines along with EVMs in all polling booths. Voters can identify whether their votes are being cast for the right candidate. 5 VVPATs from each assembly constituency will be randomly matched with the corresponding EVM. The matching will ensure the complete transparency of the entire electoral process. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Well, the BJP chief Amit Shah is hosting a dinner for NDA leaders in New Delhi. The dinner is currently on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also present on the occasion. And this leads us now to our in focus point, and this is it on your screens. In focus tonight is constant questioning of EVMs justified? Is constant questioning of EVMs justified? To answer this question, because it's a question really, we have with us in the studio R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, and J. Sai Deepak, advocate and social media analyst. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. We'll start with you, Mr. Deepak. The Supreme Court has already dismissed a review petition asking for 50% of the VVPATs to be counted.
Right.
How can a PIL asking for 100% even reach the same court? One can ask this question.
So what could not be achieved directly was sought to be achieved indirectly, but unsuccessfully at that.
But is it even allowed?
We are not sure what are the antecedents or the credentials of the people who filed this petition, so I don't wish to comment on that. Maybe they were justified, maybe they were genuine concerned citizens and public-minded citizens. But the coincidence is stark and it's difficult not to connect the dots. Be that as it may, assuming that this was indeed a genuine petition raising genuine concerns, it's almost as if we are asking the entire establishment to go back to the days of actual ballot voting,
Right.
as opposed to falling back on EVMs. Asking for 100% counting of VVPATs, I'm sorry to say at this minute, especially after the results of the exit polls are out, it's too difficult to miss out on what exactly are the motivations here.
Right.
Be that as it may, I think it's good that it's good that the Supreme Court did not deem it fit to even entertain the petition, and I think from what I understand this was summarily dismissed,
Yes.
which I think is what should have happened in the first place.
Mr. Rajagopalan, as Mr. Deepak says, counting 100% would actually mean going back to ballots, because you're basically counting every single vote.
Of course, it
yes,
is
yes.
right, Lynn, because we have achieved in electronics, digitalization, e-formats like that, and India is the foremost in the world to ensure that even, for example, Paytm, cashless economy. But when we have achieved that much, the same Chandrababu Naidu who brought computerization in Andhra Pradesh, who is known as the father of computer, he is questioning the EVM and he is questioning the VPAT, questioning counting VPAT. As I said, as you also mentioned, 100% is difficult. That means you have to say 3 days inside the polling booth, and the voting results, instead of 23rd May, it will come only on 27th May. 4 days it will take if you count that. Apart from that, opposition has no case. It is not justified. Your question is whether it is justified or not. It is not justified. Legally it has not stood to the ground. Apart from technically also,
Right.
the EVM machines, the Election Commission for the last 4 years has been challenging. Anyone can come and tamper with that. No one had gone up, tried to go there. CPM, who made a CPM Communist Party of Marxists, which made a hue and cry on that, did not go and tap the doors of Election Commission, ensuring that there were some sort of malpractices. But someone should point it out.
Right.
They say, give us the machine. How can the Election Commission give the machine to the party candidate? Or political party, ensuring that. Apart from that, Mr. Marklin, I am asking you one question. For the last 4 years, this hue and cry is there among the opposition parties. Only last year, Congress won in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. Let them go for election again. Same VPAT, same voting machine. EVM, if you have confidence, once you win the elections, and if you don't win the elections, you blame the Election Commission and EVM. For example, the exit polls. Most of the exit polls give good marks to NDA. Suppose if the same marks were given to opposition, for example, unlikely scenario, the Congress is getting some 300 seats. Will they go and tap the doors? Today Mayawati did not join, though she sent her nominee. Similarly, no one is joining because Congress is also divided on EVM. Suppose tomorrow if the Congress does well, if they cross the 2 digits, they cannot blame the EVM.
Right.
Therefore, my understanding is opposition एक बगाना बनाते हैं.
Mr. Deepak, a lot of this is all about perception, and much of it is played out on social media, where the fake news is You know, we can't really decipher what is real, what is unreal. There are videos that are circulated. There may be videos of actual machines being transported. You know, at the time when they were actually going to the strong room, you're just watching a little bit of it, and people are, you know, spreading all sorts of stories about that. That could be one of the explanations. So, you know, this creates doubt amongst the electorate, and that is the kind of game that at the end of the day is sought to be played. And you're a social media expert, so you look at this, or an analyst. How do you look at the way, you know, social media has influenced this election, especially in terms of fake news?
I'm not sure I'm either an analyst or an expert when it comes to social media, but as someone who uses social media, this much I'm sure of, is that we overestimate the influence of social media on the election process, especially when it comes to the decisions that are taken by the electorate when it comes to pressing the button on the day of the hustings. So that's one point. Point number two is, until last year or even until a few months ago, fake news was in the news. And it's surprising that nobody wants to consider the possibility of this particular issue being triggered by fake news. I don't think I'm an expert when it comes to the actual processes that take place when it comes to the election process. But from whatever little I have understood and whatever little I have understood from experts, it turns out that it could be one of those instances where these are unused EVMs which are kept in reserve. There is absolutely no proof that these EVMs were actually the EVMs that were used. And for the purposes of logistics and for keeping some of these EVMs in reserve, there are always excess EVMs in place. None of this has been gone into, and people have jumped the gun, and people with a vested interest when it comes to using this particular incident for their own purposes, they have jumped the gun on this particular issue. There is no shred of evidence that's been placed to establish that these EVMs were actually used for the purposes of elections.
Right.
And when the district magistrates who are responsible for both these places, Jhansi as well as Ghazipur, clarified that everything was done under the light of the sun in the presence of representative of all parties, and that everybody's satisfaction was taken into account before the strong rooms were locked. I don't understand where is this entire issue coming from. So I think we must take anything that comes from social media with a pinch of salt before we verify. And in fact, in this context, the statement that's been made by the president has been blown out of proportion. I don't think the honorable president has actually questioned.
The former president.
The former president has actually questioned the integrity of the process. The former president has merely issued a statement to the effect that if there are any concerns, and to put all speculation at rest, the election commission must address that issue and put it to bed. That's the basic statement that has come. Because only yesterday he made the statement.
I think it's a clarification of what he made yesterday. It's a continuance of what he said yesterday.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Rajagopalan, so this is obviously a political issue. It's sought to be blown out. It's also an issue on which the opposition parties can rally around and find some common ground. Their earlier rallying around was on the anti-Modi plank. So this is another issue that can get them together. But at the same time, you know, what is it doing to our country? It is targeting institutions that have stood for integrity for long, that have won the let's say, the admiration of the people. And you know, once you target the EC, then you start targeting the Supreme Court, just so that, you know, you want to put the blame on the government of the day.
Of course, what you described is absolutely correct. The opposition lost its balance. My understanding is, after 2014, there is no opposition in India. Mr. Marklin, I have covered Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha for more than 30 years, 35 years rather, and this is the 11th election I am reporting. My understanding is that opposition lost the game. 2019, if I describe with my political knowledge, 2019 is equal to Modi full stop. There is no opposition, there is no regional party, because wherever you go, the ground. Apart from that, I don't want to describe the BJP aspect as such. Opposition, they blamed it on judiciary, they blocked judiciary. In the parliament, the same person, I can even name that MP, Rajya Sabha MP, who is a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, he goes and brings an impeachment motion inside the parliament, and same thing in the court he says, I won't appear before you, sir. What is the double standard? We must expose the type of legal luminaries who played dual roles, double politics, double crossing the places, and advocates. And as a senior Congress leader told me that Congress is entangled with legal luminaries, and they have no political knowledge as such, because you take 4 senior leaders, they are all legal experts. They give legal solution to Mr. Rahul Gandhi. They don't give political solution. That is the reason why Congress is webbed inside of a crisis mode. That is why they are blaming it on EVM, they are blaming it on the institutions, and if they don't get anything, they get hold of Mr. Ashok Lavasa's letter, dissent letter, and create a scenario that the Election Commission is divided. The Election Commission has been divided from TN session days onwards. GVG Krishnamurthy was against. N. Gopalaswamy wrote a letter to the President of India against his own Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Naveen Chawla, on corruption charges. Therefore, T.S. Krishnamurthy wrote a letter against another Chief Election Commissioner. Therefore, the Election Commission is a divided house. It's a democracy.
Yes.
They are the keepers of democracy, the protectors of democracy, and if cannot be blamed on them. Therefore, coming to one line, underlining aspect is opposition is overdoing the politics on EVM and VVPAT. That is what I could make it out.
Mr. Deepak, actually it's not so much a charge against the EVM. It's a charge really against those who are managing the EVMs. It's a charge against the system. Now, you have, in your first answer, you did mention, that the process, you mentioned about the returning officers and all that they said. But really, when we look at the number of people involved in a system like this, is it possible? I mean, it's a logical question. Is it even possible to compromise a system when there are so many thousands of people involved? I mean, you can't compromise 1,000 or thousands of people. It's extremely unlikely, isn't it?
I don't wish to get into what is likely and what is possible, because that would enter the realm of conspiracy theories. However, this much I can confidently state for a fact, is that if you're not in a position to actually level any kind of allegation with a shred of evidence, then you must at least consider the possibility that you're completely wrong, and that if you do not have evidence, then you are contributing to shaking the fundamental confidence that the people of this country have in constitutional bodies such as the Election Commission. The Election Commission, its appointment structure under Article 324 and the several judgments passed by the Supreme Court with respect to this body clearly clarify that it is meant to be a body which is insulated from politics as much as possible.
Right.
For the simple reason that it must be allowed to function with a fair degree of independence and autonomy.
Okay.
And if you look at what has happened over the last 5 years since 2014 to 2019, every institution which represents a constitutional pillar, such as the judiciary or the Election Commission or the CAG, they have been targeted repeatedly because a few people or a few entities have not been able to perform when it comes to the hustings, have not been able to garner the confidence or the faith of the people. And effectively, these institutions have become the punching bags.
Okay.
And which I think is very, very bad, for the simple reason that these institutions represent a healthy democracy for the rest of the world as far as India is concerned. And when you drag these institutions in the mud without any kind of basis, then you're contributing to giving the impression that India is a banana republic in the eyes of the world.
Yes.
And therefore, perhaps the recommendation of the Election Commission in 2017 that perhaps the Contempt of Courts Act must be amended to give the Election Commission with some kind of teeth to take to task those people who level these kind of baseless aspersions or allegations. I think it's time that we start considering that particular aspect, because slowly we are being pushed to even considering these kind of options. It's unfortunate, it's really unfortunate that this is happening, but I think that option now exists on the table.
But politically it is not possible, whatever Mr. Sai has been recommending, because it levels, there are many layers which this type of bills have to be passed, drafting, analyzing it, sending it to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, as well as this estimate, whatever the rigmaroles are inside this legal system. My understanding, Mr. Marklin, the entire opposition wants to derail the process of personality based politics, that is Narendra Modi. They don't talk about BJP, they don't talk about any other political party. The same political parties which represent.
So it is a conspiracy theory then?
It is a conspiracy theory against Mr. Narendra Modi, not even against the government.
Right.
And second thing, as you yourself mentioned, water transparency, there are 6-7 layers in that. District magistrate, above him the political parties. I know there are 2-3 representatives of each political party can stay in the strong room. What are they doing? When the CCTV is on, why should you circulate a fake media, fake type of videos? Therefore, political parties which got rattled with yesterday's exit polls, which show Narendra Modi on an exalted position, they get into this type of nuances and create a suspicion in the minds of the people. Only for 2 days, only for 3 days, and 24th morning you will have a screaming headlines what that exit poll reflected.
So, Mr. Deepak, again, you know, because a lot of this takes place on social media, and people are not able to decipher, you know, which side is really right or wrong. And this is the beginning of, let's say, it can spiral onto the streets. People have been asked, you know, on social media to go and check the strong rooms. We know what happened in West Bengal. Political violence started taking place. Now, if issues like this are flared up, things can really go out of hand, isn't it?
So that seems to be precisely the intention, to create an atmosphere of instability and also an atmosphere of fear, to give the impression that this entire process is somehow stage managed by 2 people or 3 people at the top, and that this process has been compromised. That effectively insults the intelligence of the people and the decisions that they have taken when they press the button. So I think people are smart enough to understand this, but you never know how things can spiral out, and that's precisely why I think in situations such as these, it becomes important to put some kind of faith in state-run institutions such as the Doordarshan, especially in today's prime time news channel debate 24/7 news cycle, where it's difficult to understand what exactly is going on. I think state-run institutions and state-run broadcasting organizations do a better job of actually helping people understand what the reality is.
Right. Let's come back to the politics, Mr. Rajagopalan. So, if this is this is not the only conspiracy theory, there will be hundreds that will be aligned to it, to target institutions, to target, and they will all be targeted, as you say, at one man or perhaps 2. At this, if this is going to be the modus operandi, or is this going to be the system with which the opposition is united, what are we in for?
I don't think opposition is united, Mr.
No, it's united in targeting.
Mr. Narendra
it's
Modi,
united in targeting one person.
The
yes.
moment Narendra Modi, you say everyone is united. If you don't say Narendra Modi, they are separated, because Mahagathbandhan, it started with Karnataka, your state. Karnataka it started with, it ended with Raipur, it did not reach Lucknow. Mayawati was upset. Mayawati never joined that type of Mahagathbandhan. They had Gathbandhan, they removed Congress from that. They gave 2 seats to Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, only 2 seats. They were very generous. Aam Aadmi Party gave only 4 seats to Congress, they were generous. So therefore, Congress has a glue which for the opposition unity itself is crumbling with 2 digits and single digits. For electoral alliances, it is single digit. I can challenge you, Mr. Marklin.
Right.
You show me the 2 digits where Congress got from the allies. DMK single digit, Aam Aadmi Party single digit. If you go to Uttar Pradesh, single digit. So where is Congress?
But in Karnataka they got more than.
Karnataka they got more. How much they are going to win? Single digit. So therefore, it comes to a single digit party. 2014 threw Congress into a shatters by 44, and 2019 I am very sure it will have 2 digits, but proceeding towards this single digit formation, because Congress lost its relevance in Indian politics today. That is why the regional political parties are overpowering Congress.
Sure.
Today Mr. Chandrababu Naidu took lead on coordinating everyone. Where is Rahul Gandhi? He should have done that.
Right.
Where is Madam Sonia Gandhi? She should have done it. And apart from that, in every state, if you say Karnataka, the Congress leader Mr. Roshan Beg is saying buffoon,
yes.
and Mr. KCR says buffoon. So therefore, regional political parties, my understanding is 2019 is equal to Narendra Modi versus 35 regional political parties, no Congress.
But if we continue on this same subject, Mr. Rajagopalan, you know, the opinion polls before the exit polls, the opinion polls had predicted perhaps a role for the third front. And that's probably what got all these parties together in the first place. Now that the exit polls have come out and they look at perhaps, you know, they're not sure about what they are going to do. And a lot of them have been meeting today in the capital till the results come out. We know that they have been meeting with the UPA. Is there a possibility also that the NDA would be interested in some of these parties that are unattached? All of them, let's say even the SP, the BSP, the TRS, the TMC, the YRSC, the TDP, all these are unattached actually, in a sense.
Yeah,
the BJD, the RLD.
Roughly speaking, inside the parliament, 37, 38 political parties are represented inside the parliament. People elect various regional parties. You mentioned few political parties which are all southern state based, because the entire thing is now among these 3 or 4 Telugu people. One is Sitaram Yechury, second is KCR, third is Chandrababu Naidu. These 3 are playing politics. If you zero down in politics, these 3 have different connotations, different policies, but actually Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao is supporting BJP in an indirect manner. At the same time, Congress, left parties, if they get together and get at least 200 seats in Lok Sabha, that is the third front. Otherwise, there is no formation of third front possible, because these 2 are the gluing factor. They are the fevicol of third front.
Right. Mr. Deepak, you know, it's after the last phase of polling which took place on the 19th, we're all waiting for the results, and the political parties who breathe and you know, live and breathe politics are probably you know, much more eager than anybody else, and they're constantly keeping in touch with each other. How do you, as you know, first of all as a lawyer and as a social media analyst, look at, because you see even today's developments that we are discussing, the EVMs, is also a result of what happened perhaps with the exit polls. At least that's the logical conclusion that we are coming to. Are we likely to see a lot more of this until the results come out on the 23rd?
I think the actual action is bound to begin after the results. Going by what signs one can read in terms of where all of this is heading towards, there is a decent chance that there could be significant hurdles to government formation that is created before the Supreme Court in one way or the other. In fact, quite a few tweets that one gets to read on Twitter by multiple people, especially people who have some kind of a standing before the Supreme Court, it seems that people are gearing up for something. And I suspect that even if the elections or rather the results are out and they give a very clean majority to one party or to one particular coalition, it is not going to be the end of the matter, because going by the frequency and the propensity with which these opposition parties have knocked the doors of the Supreme Court, there's a decent chance that there is more to come, and there is more action to be seen on that front after the declaration of the results.
Yeah, among the legal fraternity, I also get a feeling, whether Mr. Sai should concur with that or deny it, even the Chief Justice did not proceed only when he is going to sit in the court. Because he apprehends that this type of urban naxals among the judiciary and among the legal fraternity, they get into action and they tap the door of the Supreme Court every time. So today for example, 100% VPAT.
So you're saying that this is all not part of the waiting game. In fact, the game is going to be played even further after the results are declared. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us here on Newsnight. Moving on then to our next story. Well, it looks like some Congress leaders in Karnataka are looking to leave the party. Senior Congress leader Roshan Beg, who is one of the senior most leaders, also a Muslim leader, blamed the arrogant attitude of the CLP leader Siddaramaiah and the immaturity of the KPCC President Dinesh Gundu Rao for what he describes as the hopeless condition of the Congress party in Karnataka. And he went as far as to call the AICC General Secretary KC Venugopal, I beg your pardon, who is in charge of the party in Karnataka, a buffoon. So the KPCC has given Beg 7 days to reply before initiating disciplinary action. More on what this portends for the Congress party in Karnataka in this report.
The exit poll results have triggered a panic button for Congress in Karnataka. Trouble seems to be brewing for the Congress-JDS coalition in the state. Both the parties are going out against each other. The state Congress leader Roshan Beg has hit out at the Karnataka Congress leadership and party in charge KC Venugopal in particular. Beg said State Party President Dinesh Gundu Rao, former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Party General Secretary KC Venugopal should be responsible if Congress performance is not good in the election. He even said the Muslim community should join hands with the BJP if NDA wins.
KC Venugopal is a buffoon. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for my leader, Shri Rahul Gandhi ji. Buffoons like Venugopal and the arrogant attitude of Mr. Siddaramaiah and the flop show president Mr. Dinesh Gundu. The result is this.
Congress has sought a clarification from Beg. Party President Dinesh Gundu Rao has said action will be taken against him.
Let the results come, no? I don't understand what is the reason for Mr. Roshan Beg to celebrate the results when it hasn't even come out. It's all with us, no problem. I don't understand why he has to make those statements, but he has made it.
No, it is his individual opinion. What he has felt, yes, he has expressed it, and if he is justified by that, and it is his statement. I cannot generalize that statement to everybody or to the party. It is his personal statement. I think the Congress President Dinesh Gundu Rao is going to analyze it, and if need be, he will talk to him.
BJP has also slammed the Karnataka government.
Before the results are out, the tremors in the Congress party is being felt as one after the other Congress legislators are speaking against the leadership. After the results are announced, in which a complete rout of Congress is predicted.
The urgency of the situation forced Karnataka Chief Minister and JDS leader H.D. Kumaraswamy to cancel his trip to Delhi. He was set to join the opposition parties in the national capital to protest against the Election Commission of India ahead of the counting of votes on May 23rd in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections. With Bureau Inputs, Aisha Khanam, DD India, Karnataka.
And moving on to our next story, well, then a day after the Madhya Pradesh Assembly, a leader of the opposition, Gopal Bhargava, dispatched a communication to the Governor Anandiben Patel urging her to convene a session of the Vidhan Sabha. The Chief Minister Kamal Nath has written back a letter to Bhargava stating that he is ready, ever ready for any discussion on any public interest issue. Well, Bhargava in his letter had said that the political situation in the state has changed. Here's a report.
While results of the elections for 2019 are dominating the political discourse of the day, ahead of result day on the 23rd of May, questions are being raised on the stability of the government in Madhya Pradesh. Chief Minister Kamal Nath has rubbished claims of instability. Interestingly, BJP leader Gopal Bhargav, in a letter to the Governor Anandiben Patel, had requested a special session of the House to enable a no-confidence motion to be brought in against the ruling Congress government in the state. He said that the changed political scenario merited such a step.
राज्यपाल से निवेदन किए कि फ्लोर टेस्ट होना चाहिए. सीधा का सीधा ही कह दिया कि हमें सत्ता का लालच नहीं है. आपके पास यदि 4-5 संख्या ज्यादा है विधायकों की, आपके लिए हम मुख्यमंत्री बनाए. और इसके बाद में कोई फ्लोर टेस्टिंग आज तक नहीं हुई. मैं सिर्फ इतना कहना चाहता हूं, 6 महीने हो गए विधानसभा के लिए गठित हुए, लेकिन आज तक कोई सार्थक चर्चा विधानसभा के किसी फोरम पर नहीं हुई. इतनी ज्वलंत समस्याएं हैं, तो क्या हम सिर्फ इसी के लिए कि वाद विवाद करते रहें और बचते रहें हम.
Tuesday saw State CM Kamal Nath hold a meeting with party MLAs and senior leaders and discussing the party strategy in the present situation. Sources say that Kamal Nath could very soon expand his Council of Ministers in an attempt to keep the party intact and his government stable. Questions, meanwhile, are being raised of the stability of his government because the Congress has 114 members in the House of 230 and is dependent for support on 4 independents, 2 of the BSP and 2 other MLAs of the SP. The BJP, on the other hand, is just a little behind with 109 members in the House. With Bureau Inputs, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Well, in a shocking incident being reported from Arunachal Pradesh, the sitting National People's Party MLA Tirong Abo and 6 others have been killed in an attack. According to the reports, suspected NSCN, that's the National Socialist Council of Nagaland terrorists, could be behind the attack, which took place at Pagopani village of Tirap district in Arunachal Pradesh. The Supreme Court Registry today has refused to set up a special bench to hear the former Kolkata Police Chief Rajiv Kumar's plea, which sought extension of his 7-day protection from arrest in connection with the Sarda chit fund case. On Monday, Kumar had in fact approached the Supreme Court, pleading for an extension of time to seek legal recourse against his possible arrest by the CBI for allegedly not cooperating with the probe agency. Well, Kumar had cited a lawyer's strike in West Bengal and the Election Commission's refusal to sanction him leave for more than 2 days. as the grounds for his seeking the extension. And the bench of the apex court, headed by Justice Indira Banerjee, asked Kumar to approach the Secretary General for setting up of a 3-judge bench for hearing his case. Well, the Central Bureau of Investigation, which is probing this case, had alleged that Kumar is not cooperating with it in the case. Rajiv Kumar's protection, which began on May 17, will end on May 24. And the benchmark indices took a U-turn from the record high levels touched during early trade on Tuesday, with the BSE Sensex tripping nearly 383 points and the NSE Nifty shedding over 119 points. Investors hurried to book profits, is what analysts say, while the BSE Sensex ended 382.87 points lower, 38,969.80. The broader Nifty plunged 119.15 points to 11,709.10. This is Newsnight, and here's our regional roundup.
National People's Party leader Tirong Abo and 10 others, including his son, were gunned down by unknown militants in Tirap district of Arunachal Pradesh. Abo, a sitting MLA from Khonsa West constituency, was seeking a re-election from this seat. He was on his way to his constituency from Assam when the suspected rebels opened fire at their vehicle near Bogapani village. A team of Lokayukta raided 3 properties of Assistant Commercial Tax Officer Komal Bali in Indore, Madhya Pradesh, and found 2 kilograms gold, 49,000 rupees cash and luxury cars. Actor Anupam Kher has slammed Vivek Oberoi for sharing a meme about Aishwarya Rai Bachchan's personal life and called it shameful and in poor taste. In an anti-smuggling operation, the Indian Coast Guard seized a drug-laden Pakistani vessel Al Madina off the Jakku coast in Gujarat. A total of 194 packets suspected to be containing 500 crore rupees worth of narcotics was seized. 2 district reserve guards personnel were injured when Naxals detonated an improvised explosive device in Chhattisgarh's Sukma district. The incident took place near Gogunda village when a joint team of security men were out on an anti-Naxal operation. Delhi government has released around 206 crore rupees to the cash-strapped North Delhi Municipal Corporation. The doctors of Hindu Rao Hospital went on strike, demanding payment of pending salaries.
Well, the 25-hour countdown, this is for the launch of RISAT-2B, a radar imaging Earth observation satellite using PSLV C46 is underway. This countdown began at 4:30 this morning at the spaceport in Sriharikota, and the launch at 5:30 early morning tomorrow will mark a major addition to a vital fleet of the Indian all-seeing radar imaging satellites after a gap of 7 years. Here's a detailed report.
To meet the ever-growing demands of space technology applications in the nation, ISRO today maintains a large fleet of indigenous communication, Earth observation and navigation satellites. Besides, ISRO is self-reliant in launching most of its satellites today and has an array of operational launch vehicles like PSLV, GSLV Mark II and the heavy lift GSLV Mark III. PSLV is the most used, well-proven and versatile workhorse launch vehicle of India. It has several important landmark missions like Chandrayaan-1, Mars Orbiter mission, AstroSat to its credit. This PSLV C46 mission will be the 72nd launch vehicle mission and 36th flight from the first launch pad from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Shar. RISAT-2, the first Indian radar imaging satellite, was launched in 2009. Subsequently, RISAT-1, another radar imaging satellite, was launched in 2012. RISAT-2B, the third in the series of the country's radar imaging satellites, will be launched in the forthcoming PSLV C46 mission into a 555-kilometer orbit. RISAT-2B is a microwave remote sensing satellite which uses an X-band synthetic aperture radar payload and has a mission life of around 5 years. Once operational, the satellite will provide continuity to services provided by earlier RISAT-2. It will enhance all-weather capability in various Earth observation applications like agriculture, forestry, and disaster management support in a more effective way. With the growing interest of public in viewing the launches, ISRO has installed a modern viewing gallery at SDSC Shah, which was inaugurated on 31st March 2019. Presently, it has a capacity to accommodate nearly 5,000 people. PSLV C46, the 14th flight of PSLV core alone, is now ready for launch from Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota to commence yet another important mission for the country.
Well, Team India are all set to depart for England on Tuesday night for what will be their biggest test as they bid to reclaim the ICC World Cup for a third time. Captain Virat Kohli and the head coach Ravi Shastri addressed the media in Mumbai before their departure, where they answered a host of tough questions, but both sounded confident of bringing back the World Cup.
Virat Kohli, the Indian skipper, and head coach Ravi Shastri addressed the media ahead of Indian team's departure to participate in the Cricket World Cup that is slated to begin on May 30th in England and Wales. Although this will be the third World Cup for Virat Kohli, but will be the first time he will be leading the team. Handling the pressure is the most important thing at the World Cup, stressed Virat Kohli ahead of India's pre-departure press interaction.
I think the only expectation we have is to play really good cricket, and that's been our focus, and that's why the results have followed in the last 2-3 years, as you said. So we feel we go into the World Cup feeling very balanced, very strong as a side, and if you saw the IPL as well, all the players that are in the squad were in great form and playing really well. I think handling pressure is the most important thing in the World Cup, and not necessarily the conditions. So yeah, from that point of view, it will be very helpful.
Coach Ravi Shastri meanwhile called on the players to strive for consistency and to play to their potential, which he said should ensure that the World Cup comes to India for a third time.
As far as this tournament is concerned, it's an opportunity. You know, if you look at this team, what they've done over those 5 years, you know, they've played brilliant cricket. And like Virat said, you know, it's about striving for that consistency and not playing any differently just because it's a World Cup. World Cup might be a stage, but that stage is to be enjoyed. So, you know, the most important thing is get out there and enjoy the World Cup. And if you play to potential, that cup might be here.
India play 2 official warm-up games against New Zealand on May 25th and against Bangladesh on May 28th before the campaign in the main tournament begins with a game against South Africa on June 5th. It's a tough start for the Indians, who then have fixtures lined up against Australia on June 9th and New Zealand on June 13 before the big one, India versus Pakistan, on June 16. With Bureau Inputs, Sports Desk, TD News.
Well, and after England, India is the second-ranked team in ODIs, and like the hosts, they are also one of the favourites for the upcoming World Cup. In 2015, they came into the tournament as the reigning champions, but were knocked out in the semi-finals by the eventual champions, Australia. This time also, India are favourites to lift the World Cup, but there are some problems that the men in blue might face in the mega event.
The ICC World Cup 2019 is just around the corner. Cricket fans all over the world are getting excited about the event. The most prestigious ICC tournament will commence on the 30th of May. India will begin as favourites to lift the trophy. While the squad looks totally balanced, there are still some problems that the men in blue might face at the mega event. Lack of a genuine batsman at the number 4 spot. If we go back in the past, then Virat Kohli was India's number 4 batsman when India last won the World Cup in 2011. There is no doubt over Vijay Shankar's all-round abilities, but choosing him as your number 4 seems a bit questionable. More importantly, his performance in the IPL this year has been forgettable. Shankar has never played in England, nor has he any experience of playing at this spot. Yes, India has MS Dhoni, Dinesh Karthik and KL Rahul as backups for this position. But we can't ignore that Rahul and Karthik haven't enjoyed a good run of form in international cricket. If India would have chosen Rishabh Pant or Ambati Rayudu as the number 4, then they could have had a better structured batting lineup. Batsmen struggle against swing. When India last toured England, no player other than Virat Kohli looked comfortable against swing. In the 4th ODI between New Zealand and India, the men in blue were bundled out for 92 on a pitch where the ball was swinging. This clearly proves that there has been no relief for India's batsmen against swing even now. In overcast English conditions, the ball generally tends to move no matter what the nature of the pitch. KL Rahul, Shikhar Dhawan and MS Dhoni particularly look helpless. Therefore, Indian batsmen, especially openers, will need to stay well prepared to tackle such conditions. This is because the onus of the batting will mainly rely on the top 3. And if they get out early like in the Champions Trophy final in 2017, then India lose half of the match there itself. Jadeja's ineffectiveness on flat decks. Over the past few years, England has proven to be a graveyard for finger spinners. Wrist spinners can turn the ball as they are not dependent on the nature of the pitch. But for finger spinners, assistance from the pitch is a must. We all know that Ravindra Jadeja bowls with comparatively higher speed than others and tries to fire in the line of the 3 stumps using many variations of pace and angles rather than spin. On flat turfs, the ball will generally come onto the bat properly and there would be no spin. This might make him relatively ineffective in England. Although his place in the playing 11 looks unlikely, he might be roped in if any injury prevails. Recent IPL form of a few players. Although IPL wasn't a parameter for selection, it can certainly be a parameter for judging the form of the players. And shockingly, performances of numerous players have been forgettable. Vijay Shankar, who's been chosen as India's number 4, has had a horrendous season so far. The case has been same for India's best swing bowler, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. He will bear the onus of taking early wickets, and if he is not able to do so, it will play a spoil sport for India's hopes of winning the World Cup. Players like Kuldeep Yadav, Dinesh Karthik and Kedar Jadhav have also disappointed. Rohit Sharma has also been in an indifferent form considering his stature. Every player will play an important role in India's campaign, and the poor form of any of these will put the team one step behind. Sports Desk, DD News.
Well, the 3-time Formula 1 world champion Niki Lauda has died at the age of 70. The legendary Australian, one of the best known figures in motor racing, took the title from Ferrari in 1975 and in 1977 also, and McLaren in 1984. But for many, he will be remembered for his remarkable recovery and return to racing after being badly burnt in a crash in 1976 at the German Grand Prix. Well, Lauda, who underwent a lung transplant in August, passed away peacefully on Monday, his family had said. And after his career as a racing driver, in fact, he had become an airline entrepreneur and also most recently a non-executive chairman for the Formula 1 Mercedes team. And he was also instrumental in bringing in the British driver Lewis Hamilton, who has won 5 world championships. And on that note, we conclude Newsnight for tonight. Thank you very much for being with us. Namaskar.